and see the record when it goes. Perfect. All right. And here we go.
Yes, so.
Hi, guys. I'm Garen.
And I'm JD.
Jesus Christ. Guys, I'm Garen.
I'm JD.
This is Investigating Comic Club, where we chronologically read, review, discuss, and rate specific crucial stories of the medium.
Indeed, and we hope that you guys will subscribe to become Misfit members of Comic Club yourselves. Share your own opinions of the story in the comments below. Stick around till after our conversation for our episodic comic quality poll, as well as after the Misfit Picture Show's logo for any potential bloopers that the episode could provide. Mr. Garen.
Yes.
How are you doing, bud?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Staying warm. Staying warm.
Good man. Where are you at right now?
I am in the middle of nowhere, Minnesota.
Okay.
About 2 hours north of Minneapolis.
Right on. I am holding down the fort in our castle as you evaporated from my eyes.
I did. Just
Current circumstances, we can't be together, so we're trying this for the first time. I hope the audience and the viewers will give us a little bit of a break, as this is the first time that we've done this. But it has been a while, and even with current circumstances, and maybe because of current circumstances, I wanted to follow through. I wanted to keep going.
Yeah. And I'm glad for options like this for video chats, and I think a lot of people are very grateful for this ability, for technology, for this.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are saying social distancing, but I think that there's a little bit of an effort to transition to physical distancing. And unlike some things where it's like, oh, let's relabel this and relabel that, and it's you forget what's PC, or it's just such garbage.
Yeah.
I actually agree with the idea of physical distancing instead of social distancing, because in some ways humanity has been building up to this moment with this type of technology for the last 100 years.
Yeah.
And it's impressive, and I'm grateful for it, because I get to see those eyes. Look at them. Oh, there they are. So today we are doing The Road to Empyre, the Kree Skrull War one-shot by Robbie Thompson, Mattia De Luis, totally butchered it, sorry, and Javier Rodriguez. This is an interesting comic, and I chose it because, there's this crossover coming up. There's some buzz about it. There's some of the buzz is negative. People are, event fatigues. There's events that companies do, like you did the Maximum Extreme
Carnage. Maximum Carnage. Absolute Carnage. Absolute Carnage.
Okay. Well, each one of those things I just said was their own event.
Was their own thing, yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
So, with events, there's some people that they just don't want them anymore. But I thought that, why not? I wanted to throw you into the deep end. This is the Road to Empyre. I had no expectations going into this. I just felt like, let's give it a shot. Let's see what gets.
No, and I'm glad you did have me read it. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about it.
Cool. Well, I just getting started, I will say that it's cool because with you've done, with our chronological Marvel companion series, you've gotten up to the ending of the origin of the Avengers. The Avengers have just come together in the chronological Marvel. In some ways, that's the real foundation of the Marvel Universe. All the team kind of in place, all the teams, all the heroes, the like main ones. You've got this pretty firm foundation of that. Moving forward, one of the big first events in the Marvel universe, as far as like galactic and cosmic ramifications, long form stories, was the Kree Skrull War decades ago.
Gotcha.
And this comic is really like a retelling of decades worth of stories, hundreds of comic books in a one shot.
Oh, yeah, and I kind of got that as far as starting out, because, and going back to, I've said many of times, is like what I've known before doing comic club is just the movies.
Right.
So then even now going into this, where I'm kind of now learning about some of these people, even the Kree and the Skrull and the
Kotati.
Yeah, Kotati. And but like hearing those things when they came up in Captain Marvel or Avengers, it was like cool. But like it was a surprise to me, but wasn't anything like, oh my God, I can't believe they, or for people who know it already, might have been like, yeah, that fits. They should have been there. Or, like
I guess
it was in
Guardians of the Galaxy with the Kree.
Yes.
And then Captain Marvel with the Skrulls and maybe the Kree as well. I forget if they were in that one, but certainly you've been introduced to the Kree and the Skrulls.
Yeah.
Through the Marvel Cinematic.
So it was nice to read this and kind of get that backstory, that whole origin story, and having going through it, some of the, and the point of view, I wasn't sure. I was actually sure. Okay, so like you have Ivy. Is that the main girl's name?
Daughter Skrull.
The daughter. Mm-hmm. But that point of view of leading this story time, which then also, but then it ends with how that kind of ending of it. But it was kind of a nice through line of hearing each of this story of like, well, here's how this happened, and then that actually led to this happening, and then that, because I remember right off the bat seeing this leaf, seeing the leaf and being like, that started the war. Like what? And then to come to realize, where that leaf came from. Yeah,
super cool. I think we've talked often about, in some of the comics, like Hickman's X-Men even. And Hickman, I don't know anything about Robbie Thompson. I've never read anything from him. But with so much exposition and history to give you, he introduced you to a group of characters that you care about, that grounds you within ruckus of things. Even these literally alien murderers, they're trying to take over planet Earth.
Yeah.
Cared for them.
Yeah.
And you felt it was their humanity kind of through this issue.
You cared for them, and even by the end, in only 35 pages, you're caring for, like you said, humanity, or even the ones who and then for it to come together at the end too, where it's like, I didn't know what to even write down for the mindset I had for that, but that whole fighting this battle, and then now it's like, but we all have to come together to fight, I guess.
Us?
Earth? Yeah, right. Us?
Are these our enemies? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
The Kree and Skrulls are now coming to Earth to conquer it?
Yeah.
And we care suddenly about the Skrulls and kind of Kree at the end.
It's like, great. I cared about you. Now you're going to say you're going to come down here? Yeah.
It's nicely done. Going to the cover, I think it's interesting because the artist who did that is Phil Noto, and he was the artist that did Avengers Origin.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's a little stiff, and I even said, like, I think that he's a better cover artist than he is an interior artist. He's also the guy that did that really cool Cable cover that we saw that looked like
Oh, yeah. Yep.
really, I loved that cover. I think it's great. And then going into the interior art, I liked that there were two artists, one for the modern day sequence and one for the past sequence. I'm unfamiliar with the artist who did the modern day sequence, but I thought it was really, really pretty combination of art.
No, it was almost like, it was not even realistic, but it had that more elegant, realistic viewpoint of it, rather than you go into the past and it brings out more of this like bright color, cartoony, but still detailed.
Yeah, it's
artwork.
More of a cartoonist, what you would say.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about that, the flashback sequence, I'm not sure if you noticed, that artist that did the flashback sequence is the same artist that just finished, was it History of the Marvel Universe? That 6-issue story that you picked up? You haven't read it yet because I wouldn't let you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which is perfect for him to do flashbacks. Perfect, like one day when I let you read that, this will fit in there really nicely. You know,
that's how good of a person I am. It's in my arsenal of digital comics as well, and I just still haven't clicked on it.
No, I thought that was a really cool, and had to have been deliberate choice on Marvel's part to get him to do this as like a real continuation of the history of the Marvel Universe. If somebody read that trade and then decided, oh, for this first event that's happening right now, I'm moving forward. It's a nice connection.
Let's see.
You're hit with a lot of history here. How did you feel about it, like following along?
I enjoyed it, for especially where I am at with it. It felt new to me. It felt like I was learning, but then once, characters that I knew were coming up, and then I didn't really know, I feel kind of lost when it came to some of the names of the characters I knew, but not fully as far as, what is his name?
Captain
Koi?
Oh, Koi, who is the celestial messiah.
Yeah.
Dude.
But then I also knew who the celestial, Mantis.
Oh, Mantis, right? From Guardian.
Yeah. And then to see that and be like, oh, that makes sense even more,
Yeah.
Powerful empath.
Yeah, Mantis's story, you wouldn't guess this from the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I think Volume 2 that introduced her, right? Yeah. She was adorable. That is one of the most convoluted stories in Marvel's history. The Celestial Madonna Man. And it's absolutely outrageous. Knowing, I have read bits and pieces. That's one of the particular stories that it literally took, I think, 3 decades to finish her one story arc.
Just from why it takes so long?
Story.
Yeah. Just because they didn't want to finish, or they couldn't,
There was one writer that really took it, and he wrote different Marvel comics throughout the decades, and whenever he would write a different comic, whether it was the Avengers or the Fantastic Four or the Silver Surfer, inevitably in his 50 issues of that comic, he'd bring Mantis in and tell another 7 or 8 comics to further her story. So it's kind of an impossible story to just read. It's
gotcha.
I can't. They told it very precisely and cleanly here.
That'd be a word, omnibus.
It's actually one of the 2 graphic novels that I told you once when the current circumstances were hitting, and I ordered 2 graphic.
Oh yeah.
One
Oh
of
yeah.
them is called Avengers: The Complete Celestial Madonna Saga,
Gotcha.
and I'm reading it right now, and it's a joy, but you have to just turn your brain off
Mm-hmm.
and allow it to not really make sense. Like you can't, don't squint too hard, or it will just fall apart. You just kind of got to go with it. But it is one of the most baffling. Like I guarantee the writer must have been on drugs during the 70s and 80s,
Mm-hmm.
tripping as he was telling a lot of the story. So yeah, Koi, I don't even really know much about that story. But I think they kind of catch you up and tell you everything you need to know.
No, they do. Yeah, and I love the jumping back and forth, and then having even again right outside of the hotel.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, I love the art in this all around.
I do too. I was really impressed by it, and the colors. Like it's just absurd superhero storytelling with a whole bunch of comic books and backstory. Like it's a story that.
And this is one too where, I mean, it'd be cool to have. It almost makes me you take for granted, not being able to go to, your local comic book shop and go picking up an actual hand comic. It's
A
like
hard copy of
especially
it.
in this one where it's like a one shot, hard copy, one shot. The art looks great. I mean, and it's just, and then giving back and stuff like that with, it's a weird time.
It is a weird time. One of the things that I think I liked so much about this comic was how it just embraced utterly and complete escapism.
Yeah, no, I agree, because it was the first time. I mean, I'm reading my comics. I brought some omnibuses with me, to read, and got Marvel Unlimited stuff. But reading this, it was a time where I was able. Sometimes I'll read and it's like, okay, just to get your mind off things. This was the first time I've really felt like, and it was also because we were doing it for this, so I was like more focused to force myself to be focused.
Okay.
But it was after the first page of just like, it then just started flowing, and I 33 pages went by like that, and I was not realizing what was going on around me, and kind of just got to dive into it. I was taking notes and stuff, and yeah, it was again learning more about the whole universe and different.
There's some big things in here. Like you've probably seen the X-Men on the moon, like the Scott Summers home on the moon in Hickman's X-Men.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like right next to like the blue area of the moon, I think, and there's that old ruined city.
Yeah.
This is that,
yeah.
Is there? So there's what, the Captain Marvel, Kree Skrull War. There's the Young Avengers, Hulkling.
See, Young Avengers was great to see too.
Yeah, like what really kind of piqued your interest in a way of like, I think I might want to go back and read some of these old
Young Avengers was one. The whole moment when the half part Skrull, part Kree, yeah, Hulkling, and that whole, I mean, the artwork in that page looked amazing in general, with everybody in it. You have Wolverine, you have Spider-Man, you have Captain America, you have it's the whole gambit. You have Gambit.
Actually, that storyline, Young Avengers, they did 2 miniseries, so there's really not that many of them out there, and they are phenomenal.
I might have to check it out now that Marvel Unlimited.
I'll send you a little list of things that you should read in what order. One of the cool things about that, you've got these 2 warring factions. first you get Captain Marvel and Princess Annelle. So it's almost like Romeo and Juliet, with these warring galactic alien races. And Captain Marvel from the Kree and Princess Annelle from the Skrull, they come together, and it's almost like, what if Romeo and Juliet had a child that survived?
Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's cool because to see him now at the end of this almost leading,
that's cool,
and bringing these two warring factions together. Unfortunately, it's against humanity, but it's fun to get this first piece of the puzzle. And it's kind of the villains, but I'm rooting for them. It's not it's not like the X-Men where I'm like, I'm not rooting for you guys.
Yeah.
It's because of the humanity.
No, I'm actually, it is the humanity of it. You're rooting for it and then for them to pull it from you at the end where you're like, well, let's see how this goes. I'm interested to see who I'm going to root for after all this is done. And it is cool because was this a pre-telling of what has already happened that then leads into what is to come? Or is it going to be like another retelling? Or this is just to catch us up so that we don't have to go back and do all that?
This is the catch-up issue. That's why they call it the road to. This is what to Empyre. So you literally can start. Now there's an Avengers issue 0 and a Fantastic Four issue 0 for Empyre. 2 more one-shots.
Ooh.
And one of them is drawn, and they're both drawn by the 2 artists that did House of X and Powers of X.
Cool.
Yeah. I had 0 expectation going into this issue, but it was delightful.
Yeah, it was. It was.
I was delighted by this comic.
Yeah, I gave it. If we're jumping right into that.
Well, before we go there, I can.
Before we jump into that, yeah, it was as true. It was I like. The part where it says it was a ruse, or it was a ruse. Meaning, I like that where it's like the 2 battled everybody and they lost.
Which was the ruse?
It was at the very end almost where it showed like the 2 were fighting each other or were fighting everybody.
Wow.
Fantastic Four and all them. And then it was like, it was all a ruse to show like it didn't matter what the true meaning was, what was it?
The humans, the Inhumans, and the Watcher played a trick on them.
Yeah.
To get them to team up against a common enemy.
Put up against a common enemy, and then it was more or less them all being on the same page, even if it meant that they lost so that they could stop the battle, like.
Yeah, that's those sequences, that story. You're going to read actually the beginning of that in your first, that Uncanny X-Men. That was, and it was really lovely because the flashback art there was so much fun to see the Kree and the Skrull against the Fantastic Four and the Watcher.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the current day and they're sitting in the car and crying.
Yeah.
It really, the coloring of that issue, of that page, and the daughter just saying like, no, it's not because of how they tortured me. This is me talking. And I forgive them. It's powerful, and it actually makes it so that when she doesn't kill the Kree family, when she puts the gun down, you buy it. It's a really difficult moment to not be totally cheesy. But you actually
you believe it completely. I was just looking at seeing the following, what we were just talking about, the Avengers, Kree, and Skrull War. Because it does say at the very
tree.
end, it says, yeah.
And then the Celestial Madonna, that's the one I just got.
Yeah, okay. There it is. And then for it to end with "to be continued" in the thrilling pages of Empyre.
Right, yeah. It's cool, right? You see Empyre number 0, Avengers, Fantastic Four, and then Empyre number 1 will be the series proper. And there's 2 Jonathan Hickman written issues of X-Men, I believe they're 10 and 11, that are going to tie directly into this.
That Empyre Fantastic Four, just from even reading this, looks, and now looking at that cover, looks really cool.
I had no expectations. Certainly didn't think I'd be hungry for the next issue when I started this. But it was an absolutely delightful surprise.
Mm-hmm.
And, I give this, like, for what this did, setting that stage in such a fun way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, like, I give it an A. And I'm really happy because I thought maybe it was just because I am so well versed in the history. I was curious how you felt about it.
No, and that's why I gave it an A as well.
Ooh,
I thought.
really fun.
For not knowing anything and yet not giving every.
High five.
This way.
Yeah.
This.
Bam, bam.
For not giving anything away, for catching me up so well, but still not giving.
Yeah, we don't know quite what's up with Empyre.
Yeah,
we'll find out.
It still gives me more to lead, gives me wanting more, and then also give me enough information too of the past. Too, like you said, is there something that intrigued me to then go down that rabbit hole?
Yeah. So. And Young Avengers, you will not be disappointed with these 18 issues. Like they're right up your alley. They're super modern. You're gonna you'll love them.
Nice.
It's perfect. That's cool. Well,
yeah, that's really cool. Let us know, guys, in our, give us, what is it? Comic quality poll. Give it A, B, C, D, or F. Let us know in the comments. Anything. Let's keep the conversating. Let's talk.
Yeah, indeed. This is a time where this is the new socializing. So I hope that you guys will, come on out and socialize with us. Tell us your opinion of this comic. I haven't seen what many people have. Did you guys go out and get this issue, or are you just waiting for the series proper? If so,
or here's the thing. Were you able to go out and get it? That's a true question. And how are you staying in the know? And what are you doing? Let us know. Let us know in the comments. We want to know. Talk to us.
Very, very good. It's a pleasure, guys, as always. Thanks for joining us, and I appreciate you guys having some patience if the sound isn't quite great or the picture freezes at any times. Thanks for joining us.
To be continued. Yeah, we did. I was like, this is the first time we've had to go all the way through and not had any stand up, record.
That's right.